Yes, hello.
Doctor, we have a Phragmites problem. Please get down here.
Oh, what problem?
Please get down here right away. Phragmites, they're taking over everything.
I'll be right down there. Thank you. Okay. Jezebel, can you come in, please?
That's not my name, but okay. What do you need?
Whatever. Listen, I got a phone call just a moment ago. There's some crazy lady or something. She's talking about Phragmites.
I think it's pronounced Phragmites.
Whatever. Look, can you just go look out there and deal with it a little bit to see what the whole hubbub is about?
Okay, I'll do just that.
Thank you, Jezebel.
Not my name.
Please, no. This is my land.
Oh no, this is really bad.
Doctor, I just came back from the field. Hey, wait a minute. Are those my leggings?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I have the information to show you.
Yes, go. Please do. Please.
Well, here's what we've got.
Doctor, are you paying attention?
Yes, you interrupted my daily yoga routine, so this better be worth it.
It is. This Phragmites, I don't think we've ever seen a plant species like it before.
Go on.
Okay, well first off, you should know that it's an invasive species. It originally came from Eurasia a long time ago, and since then, it's found throughout all of the provinces in Canada and most of the states in the US.
Really? How did it get over here? Did it hop on a boat or something?
Scientists like us aren't exactly sure yet. There are theories about it having been used as food for elephants, and it began its invasion that way. But to be honest, we just aren't sure.
Sounds like a slippery foe, to be sure.
You have no idea. You see, for the longest time, people didn't even know it was invading. We have a native form of this plant, Phragmites americus, that looks pretty similar to it. You see, there's the invasive form, Phragmites australis.
Well, the invasive form looks a little bushier, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, one of the defining characteristics of the invasive form is that it contains many more seed pods, which are what you're seeing there.
More seeds likely means more chances to reproduce, am I right?
Yes, in fact, it grows thousands of seeds annually, and these seeds can be transported through the water, air, or animal movement.
Not to mention human actions or equipment. I'm sure they've gotten stuck to my water skis after a few bad tumbles.
I wish these seeds were their only problem. Most of their biomass is found below the ground in their roots and rhizomes.
I believe I've seen this before, and then they use those roots as runners to allow for new shoots to spring up further along, right?
You got it. These roots can grow several meters horizontally each year, and the plant itself can grow vertically at a rate of 4 centimeters per day.
That sounds like a lot. Over the course of just one summer, we'd be seeing these things towering over everything.
Didn't I mention how tall they are? Look at this. The native form can only usually grow to a maximum height of 2 meters, which is still impressive, but look at the invasive form.
Wow, that is far more. Looks like they can grow up to a maximum of 5 meters.
Doctor, this is really bad. We have to get rid of these things.
Well, then just go do it.
Oh no, you're coming with me.
Oh, okay, well let me get changed. These are my own. The doctor is in.
See, here's the Phragmites. You see how it's taller and darker than the non-invasive kind?
Yes, its Phragmites looks quite tall. But I don't understand. I mean, it's just a plant. What's the big deal with the Phragmites?
Why don't you go see for yourself?
I am the worst plant invasive species in North America. I am here to take over this land.
and be a menace to other wildlife and plant life.
Well, how are you going to do
I
that?
spread by seed and fragmentation across this land. My roots release toxins that make other plants unable to grow. I stop the flow of water, and I ruin the habitat of animals and birds, and prevent them from nesting and breeding.
Oh crap.
This is not good.
Well, if that's the case, it looks like I'm going to need to take a sample of you to see what kind of threat you truly pose. No, not again!
Save you again?
Just get me out of here! Get me out! Get me out!
Don't come back.
God, that frag is a lot tougher than we thought. We need to get back to the lab to rethink our strategy here. Wait, what the hell is that? Ah! Ah! Ah!
You gonna be okay?
I did not expect that.
Yeah, it was a lot more aggressive than we thought it would be.
Yes, but now we have this at least, so we can begin to figure out what specifically we are dealing with. I'm going to run some tests, and I will get back to you.
Okay. So it's been 12 hours. What have you discovered?
Well, Vicky, you see, the results are in. Oh, I didn't mean to show.
Okay, so I've been doing a lot of reading on Phragmites, and as well as ran some tests on that sample we managed to take from Phragmite. Do you remember all those physical characteristics of the invasive form you were telling me about earlier?
Yeah?
Well, it's pretty bad. I get now why Ontario is just so damn keen on getting it out of the province. It's incredibly thick, and I don't mean my whiskers on my upper lip. That thickness creates what's called a monoculture.
Doctor, I know what a monoculture is.
Yes, I know that already. Phragmites grow so densely and so quickly that they completely outcompete any other type of plant life that wants to grow and live there. They're kind of a pretty plant, the way they just blow in the wind, their bushy tops just floating back and forth.
Focus, Doctor.
Yes, as I was saying, they crowd out other plant life using a few methods. By growing so tall and densely, they prevent sunlight from reaching other plants, and they also don't really allow plants sufficient room to grow and have access to nutrients. Biodiversity is very important for any sort of environment, particularly any sorts of water body. With only Phragmites around, the overall health of a water body suffers. Another way they prevent other plants from growing is through toxins they create in their roots. This process means they are called allelopathic, literally plants that create toxins with their roots. This toxin, gallic acid, is released and degraded by UV light to produce mesoxalic acid. This is super effective against plants since they're now hit by two toxins, the gallic and the mesoxalic acid.
And the Phragmites are conveniently resistant to these toxins, aren't they?
Right again. And if you thought that this giant monoculture of Phragmites only affected plants in the area, you were dead wrong.
I never thought that.
That's why you're my assistant after all. With so many Phragmites around, it greatly impacts the habitats of any animals that are living there. Take turtles for instance. They're already having a rough time in the world. They're a species at risk. Did I ever tell you about the time?
Not now, Doctor.
Fine. Well, turtles need particular environments, sandy or gravelly roads to lay their nests, and entrances and exit points from the ponds they reside in. Phragmites effectively put up giant roadblocks and eviction notices on their nesting areas, so they're rigid and tough, as you mentioned earlier, that turtles just can't get around them. And they're just one example. In some studies, marshes with Phragmites showed a lower diversity of bird populations compared to Phragmite-free marshes. Fish can get caught in the stands when water levels drop. And most animals don't enjoy munching on Phragmites, although I hear they can be consumed by humans.
Doctor.
Okay, basically, if you're too small to bend the stalks to your will and don't like eating them, you're going to have a bad time anywhere there are Phragmites. As you well know, particularly in wetlands, biodiversity is key. Even the removal of a few key species can completely alter or destroy a habitat. And that's just some of the issues in regards to biodiversity of water bodies.
You mean there's more?
You bet. Stuff like blocking waterways, draining water bodies, being a great hazard for fire potential, etc., etc. I don't feel like talking anymore though, so I conveniently ran it through my computer and had it synthesize a voice to say the rest out loud.
Can you just explain blocking waterways quickly though?
I guess. Remember the thick monocultures it creates? Super dense clusters of stands of Phragmites? Nothing can really get through it. I mean, water can, albeit slowly, ignoring the super metabolic rate of this invasive plant anyway, but particularly in ditches which contain a lot of sediment that washes off the roadways in agricultural areas. This sediment can easily get trapped by the stands of Phragmites, and then you start getting blocked watercourses. That can be a strain on city revenue, sure, but it's also bad for the environment. Water can stagnate and not return to wherever it's supposed to head.
Let's hear what your computer has to say.
In addition to the loss of biodiversity and habitat, Phragmites also affect hydrology. Because of the fact that they have high metabolic rates, they grow more quickly and have increased transpiration over their native relative. This leads to lower water levels. Furthermore, because of how dense they grow and how slow they decompose, they impede flow rates and increase sedimentation. With the combination of lowering water levels and increased sedimentation, wetlands will eventually cease to be wet, drying up, and thus affecting how they reduce soil erosion, filter contaminants, and deal with stormwater. Considering that Phragmites break down slowly, they also affect nutrient cycling, sequestering carbon and other nutrients. While this can be considered a good thing though, depending on the amount, disrupting the nutrient cycling can lead to problems further down the road. Phragmites pose a threat by increasing the risk of fire hazards. As discussed earlier, they grow in very thick, dense stands, and the stands are composed of mostly dead, dried material which is combustible. With Ontario just having its driest and hottest summer of this year in 2016, this threat is becoming more concerning. There are many economic and social impacts Phragmites have on society. They can disrupt crop yields by invading agriculture-tended land, lower property values by not being aesthetically pleasing, especially in regards to lakefront properties, disturbing the view of drivers on the road and potentially causing accidents. Recreational activity will decrease for those who like to swim, boat, fish, or hunt.
Doctor, this sounds more serious than I first thought.
Yes, start gathering the equipment.
Alright. Pesticide check. I'm gonna kill that stupid frag.
Shovel and pitchfork. Check.
Very good. And flamethrower. A little awkward to put in. Alright, let's go. Wait.
Foolish humans!
We are gonna dig out the Phragmite issue.
Okay.
You will never get everything. I will come back with stronger numbers.
No!
This isn't working. Look, let's return to the drawing board. I'm sure we have other options.
Okay. Digging you out didn't work, but maybe flooding will. So.
It's just a weed. It means I should be able to just pick it up and tear it out of the ground.
I have too many friends.
Come here.
I will be back!
Say hello to my little friend.
My roots are too deep and wet. You will never kill me.
Darn it!
This has to work.
No, don't do that. That's my only weakness. Ah!
Thank God.
Dear Diary, despite the Phragmite falling to pesticide use, in reality, it usually takes much more. Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority recommends an integrated pest management strategy which incorporates many of the techniques or strategies that we attempted against the Phragmites Monster. Despite pesticide treatment being the most effective singular strategy, a combination of any techniques such as pesticides like glyphosate, as well as handpicking or prescribed burns are much more effective than any one strategy alone. Other options to play around with include flooding or clear cutting. This is important. since glyphosate in particular is not always allowed. Particularly in Phragmite areas where water levels are higher or flowing, pesticides are not allowed due to the impact they could have downstream. In these situations, clear cutting and hand picking are viable if less successful methods. Ontario is attempting to get Phragmite classified as an invasive weed, and if this is successful, glyphosate will be an option on them wherever they may go. It's true that even if you remove the Phragmite 1 year with these strategies, because of their extensive root systems, you'll likely see them make a return in following years. The best strategy against Phragmites is patience. This is not a one and done kind of invasion. Only constant treatment year after year can eventually reclaim our land that was taken by these vile plants. We may have won this battle against the Phragmite menace, but their numbers just continue to grow and grow. I worry that it may already be too late to fully eliminate the threat. For now, Ontario must simply try to control the growing Phragmite problem. Now, if you'll excuse me, diary, until next time.
You're not doing that again.